G'day folks, Luke Fitzpatrick here from Fish That Snag. Thank you so much for watching. Wow, haven't we had some rain of late? Up here in Queensland, it absolutely hammered down for about a week solid, and it's only just finished. The sun's only just come out and it's starting to dry things up. With so much rain in the last couple of weeks, the Mary River here on the Fraser Coast is absolutely roaring with fresh water trying to get out into the estuary. Pretty much every creek and drain along the inside of Fraser Island and through the Great Sandy Straits is absolutely pumping with fresh. With so much fresh water being pumped out into the estuary, a lot of people might be thinking to themselves, I might just ease off on the fishing, the fish won't be biting. Don't let the amount of fresh water flowing into the estuary turn you off. Fish still have to eat, the bait's still out there, so you still need to get out there and try and catch yourself a feed. It's just a matter of simply refining your target areas a little bit, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video. Now before we get into the video, I just wanted to say a huge apology to all the subscribers on my YouTube channel. For the last month and a half, I've put up barely any fresh content on my YouTube channel, and for that I'm very, very sorry. There's a couple of reasons for that. I've been extremely busy. The weather has been absolutely shocking, but probably the biggest reason of all is, as many of you would know, I spent a good part of my adult life serving in the Australian Defence Force. And a little while ago, we had a good friend of ours who committed suicide, and it all hit the group of us fairly hard. However, out of that tragic event came a really strong message at a well-attended funeral, and it was all about using the tragedy of the event to highlight the good things that are happening in our lives, how we can motivate ourselves to do even better. And I've really been spending the last month or so having a good hard think about that, trying to work out what I can do to improve what I'm doing and take it into 2018. So for the last month and a half, I've just been doing a lot of thinking. The weather, of course, has been hindering us a little bit, and I've been very busy. But they're the reasons why I haven't had too much fresh content up on the YouTube channel. And again, I'm very sorry for it. I'm back and I'm ready to rock and roll, and as you'll see in this video today, there's a few little things going on in the background that hopefully are going to make 2018 really spectacular. So for all those people who hung in there, who are still subscribing to my YouTube channel, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you're new to watching this, say you're watching it through my Facebook feed, Instagram or Twitter or something like that, if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button, because that is one of the key indicators that I use that my content is on the money and people are watching it. Okay, so let's get into the video proper. Now before the rain hit, I was spending quite a bit of time out in the estuary experimenting and using some of the new Yakumito range of lures that are exclusively available at Complete Angler stores. Specifically, you would have seen this one already. This is the Baby Viper. Okay, it's about 6 grams, 55 mil long, and I tell you what, the trebles on it are ultra sharp. I've been using this an awful lot to target flathead of late, and it works an absolute treat. So before the rain hit, the fishing was going really well, and then I was coming back in one day and this is what the sky looked like. Now for any of us out there that are pretty die-hard fishers, we know our weather, we know the patterns to look for, and when you look up in the sky and you see this sort of cloud formation, we know things are about to change. The end result is bucket loads, absolute bucket loads of fresh water flushing out of all the creeks, drains and the Mary River into the Great Sandy Strait. And this is a pretty typical example of what it looks like at the moment. Very dirty water, and you can see this particular drain. It's not a very big one, but there is tannin rich fresh water flushing out of it. So we're going to use this drain as an example and refine our target areas. The situation as is on the screen, the tide is moving from the bottom of the screen to the top essentially, and as that tide is moving in, Okay, it's eventually going to flood these mud flats. As it's moving in, what it's doing is all this fresh is coming out. It's being hit by the force of the tidal waters coming in, and it's moving around in this direction. All right, so the tannin-rich fresh water is all this dark stuff. So this up here is lots and lots of fresh sitting on top of the salt, but because it's not very deep, I'd say that's mostly fresh. And this here, even though it's still really mucky, you know, you can see the colours in there aren't too good, it's still got a lot more salt in it. The area that I'm particularly interested in is this area here. My boat was parked just down to the bottom of the screen down here, and the first thing I observed was lots of prawns and bait fish busting up in this particular area as predators herded them in and were then laying in wait, waiting for the tide to come in as well. The bait, all those sorts of things, essentially as the tide floods this area, they then want to use this channel to get up into, as far as they can, right up into the mangroves and things and hide. Okay, and the predators know that, so they hang around in these sort of areas ambushing things as they go in and out. And at the moment the bait has a real dilemma because that's very fresh, so they're basically being herded up into these areas with nowhere to go. So the tip is, when you get out there, folks, don't be afraid to go out there because there's a lot of fresh going. Just be very careful and identify the dirty water lines and cast into the clearer side from the dirty water line. Get it in nice and close as well, like right up on the edge as far as you can. Okay, it doesn't matter if this was deep water out at the head of river heads or up in a drain like that. Where you see a dirty water line like that, get your lure or your bait right up on the edge of that dirty water line, and you'll be quite surprised what you actually find sitting there. Fish still have to eat, and in this case they were busting up in here, and this is what I found. So there you go, folks. I'm all done. Again, thank you so much for watching this video. Please remember to hit the subscribe button. And above all, don't be afraid to get out there and get amongst it. There's a lot of fresh water out there, but there is definitely a feeder fish with your name on it. All the best, and I hope to see you on the water.